comments about the trending
I saw
topics?
You saying, the biggest bet, Machala. Unfortunately, some of us are 30 GB, but I mean, it's deserving.
I'm sorry, who's on the HBO documentary? Thank you.
I'm just saying
so
that
today,
some of us are loyal to the video. We're still loyal to him. But again, congratulations.
Thank you.
My comment is on the POTUS, Donald Trump.
All right.
The word that he's using is kind of strange to me. You know, calling, their act is barbaric. We're calling them animals.
Is this your first time listening to his national broadcast?
Is this your first time listening to him? It's not my first time.
Let me quickly ask you this, because I'm so passionate about this, because when I saw it, what's your take that if somebody is saying I'm going into a country, our own country, guns are blazing, and you are very close to the White House, 2 National Guard having to, experience this? What are we talking about?
It means insecurity is not exclusive to Africa.
Exclusive to Africa, yeah.
But it happens everywhere. And he's talking about immigration. Why did they allow this kind of people coming to America? But the point is, either way you see it, what he said about us has put so many things in place. And that's why we're going to be talking about the topic we're going to be talking about in the discussion segments, the national security emergency. It couldn't have come to play if he had not said what he said. So everything is...
But my point is, there are better ways to say things. Like you spoke about India.
So we all know that
what he said was...
I feel that they should call him to order.
I'm talking about how did they allow this kind of people to come to America? The man that actually shot an Afghan was said to have served with the U.S. military when they went to Afghanistan. So what is he talking about?
What is PTSD?
It's just so sad, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that Trump needs to tone down his choice of words, when addressing his people, and also especially when on social media, especially on his own social media app. If you follow him on that particular social media app, oh my goodness. Anyways, now is the time we get to draw the curtains on Morning Flakes. Many thanks for joining us. But remember, New Dawn continues. For myself, Lara, Emmanuel, and Latif.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the program, the interview segments, and the rest of your day. Bye for now.
All right, on Wednesday, the president made a declaration, and that is what we are going to be discussing today. The declaration about declaring nationwide security emergency. That's what we are going to be discussing on the main interview segment of New Dawn this morning. And this declaration is actually pregnant. So many branches that we are going to be dissecting and looking at, because Nigerians deserve to be secure. Nigerians deserve to sleep with their two eyes closed. And to discuss that with us, we have two gentlemen in the house. First is Mr. Babashola Adegbuyi. He, in 2019, contested for the governorship seat of Ogun State under the umbrella of YPP. Mr. Adegbuyi, welcome to New Dawn this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, we also have a friend of the house, let me use that word, Prince Hadi Sani, Senior Special Assistant to the Ogun State Governor on Inter-Ethnic Affairs. Hadi Sani.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. Good morning, audience.
So I will allow Okwe to fire the first shots, but because I'm not alone on the program. But on the national security emergency declared by Mr. President.
Yes, thank you, Tunde. And like you said, my name is Okweyemi, and we're talking about the national security emergency. So my first question is to Mr. Adegbuyi. What exactly does this national security emergency, what does it entail? What is it about? And is this the right timing for it? Is it a little too early? Is it something that should have been done before now? I mean, what's your take on this?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And I think I will start from if it should be done or not. The truth is, it's never late, but something that ought to have been done by the previous government. It's just unfortunate that we don't value lives in this country. If we actually value lives in this country, a lot of steps would have been taken by the previous government, and we would not find ourselves where we are today. And it's just unfortunate that in this country, the politicians and the mentality of, what's it called? This mentality of tribes, tribalism, and religion is just way far beyond what we are actually taking it to in this country. And that is why insecurity is a problem in this country. Now, President Tinubu coming up with this, with the plans, the national emergency security plan, is a good one, but I have one or two things to say about it. But what do I have to say in respect of what he has rolled out? Number one, he requested that there should be additional 20,000 to the Nigerian police, and also stated that the Nigerian army should recruit more, and talked about the forest guard and ensure people are recruited so that our forests will be well protected and they go into the forest. But the truth is, before now, the Nigerian army, the military, let me just use the military because in this case, not only the Nigerian army that is fighting insurgency. We have the Nigerian Airways, although the Nigerian Navy is out there on the water. So the Nigerian Airways and the Nigerian Army actually work together in respect of this. So now, the question now is, if people are to show interest in joining, what are the packages on ground to entice the youth to take up that? Because you can't send me out there to fight and I don't have anything at the back. Everyone loves his country. Number one, we have to be patriotic of our country. We have to be patriotic. So if I'm to fight for my country, what does the country have for me in case something happens to me? In Nigeria today, even Nigeria police, they have Nigeria insurance for the police officers. Do they have access to all this insurance? What happens if they die? What happens to the families? So those are the things I think the government has to look into to encourage youth. A lot of people are there outside there to want to join, but the people they see, their friends that are in the Nigerian army, that are in the military, they see nothing to show about it. They die and they die. Just imagine the general that died. Up till now, I don't think anybody has come out in the government to actually come out to console with the family. You get it?
Okay,
I
so
think
quickly,
on that one, I'm not asking
okay.
on that one. If you read through the statements declaring the national security, I'm sure the president
mentioned
spoke
it
about it,
but it's too late.
and I'm sure that it's the army heads would have done something. I'm just sure.
I mean, talking about
that.
recruitment, I even want to take him back. Talking about the recruitment of 20,000, police officers to increase the number that they would normally, recruit. Now, you mentioned that what are the policies, what are the things that have been put in place to entice the youth or people to join. But do you think that should actually be witnessed? Because considering those that are already in the force, they don't have, they complain of inadequate weapons, they don't have enough weapons, or they don't have sophisticated weapons to face the bandits, the terrorists, I mean, if all that is not put in place, how then do you want to manage the new recruits that you want to employ? And then would we have enough time to actually take them through the training to, meet the bandits, to fight, and all of this? So do you think that the recruitment is actually the way to go, or it should be an afterthought? The
truth is we need additional hands in the military and the Nigerian police.
Okay.
We need additional hands, because if you look at the requirements of the United Nations in respect of security, at least it should be, I think, 10 to 1,000. Yeah, 10 to 1,000. So if we look at the number of police officers we have in Nigeria today, I can tell you that I doubt if they are up to 150,000. And out of this 150,000, about 12,000 are attached to VIP.
Okay, which has been called off.
Yes, so I can tell you, go out there, you still see police officers that do VIP. This is Nigeria, despite the fact that it's the Nigerian president that announced it. You get, so that is there. Then also, we have some police officers that, it's not all of them that go out there, you get. But in the matter of this recruitment, it's an emergency.
Okay.
Yes, we need to equip the police. You need to equip the military. The truth is, they are not well equipped. That's one. Then, but for someone who is ready to be employed, if you want to employ me in your company, I will ask you, what do you have on ground? Regardless of what has been on ground, my own is, okay, what do you have on ground to entice me that, okay, I want to join this particular company. So in this case, I know that by joining the Nigerian military or Nigerian police, what I know that the possibility of me leaving after 1 year or 2 years after facing the insurgency is a probability of 50-50. You get. So what happens to me, or what happens to my family if I die? What happens to me if I become incapable? What happens to me? I need to look at that too. You get. So in respect of training, it is a crash training that they will go through. The truth is, if they go through a crash training of 6 months, even in the Nigerian military, we have what they call the short service. There are people that graduate from the university and join them within 6 months, 9 months. They are done with the short service training and they out there. So they can do the same thing. It's just that after the end of everything, then there is a need for you to bring them back home to have the understanding of management and administrative part of the force.
Okay.
All right. Let me come to Prince Hadisani. You heard the president. You read the emergency declaration.
Yes.
And one of the things is recruitment. The other angle to it is training. As a matter of fact, they are going to be using some AYC camps as a temporary police training ground. Now, my question is this not a question of what have we been doing all this while? This is not the first time we are going to be obviously seeing that our police force, the training is not that adequate. When I was younger, we call some people mobile police, MOPO. Seeing them creates fear in you, not let of seeing the army, but now it's not the same. Don't you see this is like we are trying to mop up what would have been done over the years?
Thank you so much. State of emergency on security in this country, Nigeria, is long overdue, but it's never too late. And I'm quite happy that it's coming at this crucial time. if you dissect the security challenges of our dear country, taking it from the northeast where we are having escalating Boko Haram and insurgency, come to the northwest where the kidnapping banditry is increasing geometrically, come to the north central where the kidnapping farmers harass conflict is also increasing. Analyze it along the transmission effects it's going to be having on southern Nigeria, because we are operating a quasi-federal system. For anything that has effect in a certain region has a high tendency of escalating to the other region. That is the way our constitution, our nature, the country is being formulated. The northern and southern Nigeria all have an interdependency parameters. So if there is high insecurity in another part of the country, there is a high possibility of escalating to southern part of the country. And it's on this note, I'm quite happy with the effort also being taken by the Southern Governors Forum and the Southern Traditional Councils Forum to also be proactive in managing issues, in creating policies, in managing activities. In as much as we know, there's freedom of movements, people can move from the north to the south, but the section of that constitution, it's not exclusive. It also mandates the host communities to bring up policies on how to manage the successes and failures and challenges of the migrants. So it's quite important that the regional balancing their preparedness to manage collective challenge. It's a collective challenge. You know, the issue in the north, or the insecurity in the north, one of the major reasons is conflicts within the Libyan territory. When there was a war in Libya, so most of those ammunition after Libya broke down find their way down to the northern part of Nigeria. And you might ask why. That after leaving Libya, we have countries like Chad, like Cameroon, like Benin Republic, but most of those criminality find themselves into Nigeria. The answer is simple. Nigeria is economic viable. In Nigeria, you perpetrate criminal acts, you make huge amount of money. There is mining activities also ongoing. So all this together make it a germane reason for the president to declare a state of emergency. And what does that mean in practice? It means that we are now willing to commit everything we have on security. You know, basically, there is kind of preference when you do your budgeting. Let me say education, security, health. But by this declaration, we are now saying we are willing to commit everything on security. Reason being, the security challenges is trying to overshadow the entire country. If a country is insecure, the economic investment is zero because the insecurity will crumble it down. Your education investment will be zero. As we are seeing, they'll be kidnapping the children, you'll be forced to close down the schools. So what it means is that we are willing to forgo so many things and focus on security. Because if we are not secured, whatsoever investment we are bringing on board, that insecurity, we absorbed it. So before declaring it, we are managing everything. What we're now saying is that we pay attention on other sectors, but with superior attention on security. In practice, that is what the state of emergency means. That's when you had the president saying we're ready to recruit more security personnel. They are telling that we are willing to commit anything to secure the country. So including the training activities that you made question on, as I've said earlier on, it is long overdue. If you see the United Nations ratio of police to general public, we are still far beyond the benchmark. We need to do more, we need to improve. When you go to the UK, the US, and so many developed countries, the rate at which you see security personnel around you, it's very high. For every length, for every meters, there's a possibility of one security officer seeing your order. And despite the fact that they have a high technological gadget, they are watching you on technology, and also they are watching you on physical police that are present around you. So it's long overdue. We have to commit extremely, and certainly this a kinetic approach. One thing we also have to lay emphasis on is our non-kinetic approach. There is no way we win such kind of battle without inclusivity, without community-based solution. We all have to be on ground to resolve it. Because terrorism is a very dynamic and complex fight, because it's a guerrilla warfare. You are not even seeing who you are fighting. As developed as US is the powerhouse of the world. They see the world as in their palm, they can see everything. But after the 9/11 bombing by Osama bin Laden, with their might, it took US 10 years to bring Osama down. 10 years, almighty US, with the gadget, with information, with intelligence. So that tells you it's not a matter of might alone. It's not a matter of might.
Okay. Let me take you up on the non-kinetic issue, because this is one tactics that is being heavily criticized. They said the Eruku people were set free using the non-kinetic approach. Now, some people are now saying that this non-kinetic approach should be looked into. There are times when you need to bring people to justice to serve as deterrent for others. Are we looking at the kinetic approach too? Because you can't keep entering people's community, sacking them of their land, and we are using a non-kinetic approach to see if we can release some of them.
Thank you. It is an asymmetric warfare. It is not a direct war. It is an asymmetric warfare. You are not facing your enemies head on. They have been injected into the communities. All these communities you are seeing, there are so many host communities that are complicit in this issue. Some of the chieftains and so many people. You know, we have suppliers of their food items, of their drugs, of their medications, of their ammunition. So that tells you we will need people in the community to give intelligence. Kinetic approach is not just, is different from negotiation with bandits. No, it's a two different thing. Kinetic approach embodied a kind of engagement. So I can agree with you when we said the negotiation can be an aspect of kinetic, but does not translate to kinetic.
That's not the only thing.
Yes, kinetic embodied a whole lot of things that we need people to be on board. We need to share intelligence. We need to also resolve issues that we can resolve within ourselves. We need to share intelligence. We need to say something when we see something. That is kinetic. If we do not tell security agencies that we see something, how will they know? They will not know. They are not magicians. We have to preach that, and it is more sustainable. It is more sustainable. No matter how strong you are in your army, you need information, you need intelligence. When you say intelligence, you think DSS will just get intelligence in their office. Someone must communicate to them. And it's more easier to win a battle when you have intelligence. That is when you said we are being ambushed because someone sold us out. It is not kinetic, it is intelligence. Maybe someone sold out to bandits, which means the bandits are also deploying non-kinetic. So we have to also explore more of that. We have to educate people to be part of this peace process. It's certain security agencies cannot win the battle alone. It has to be all inclusiveness. But the security have to be firm in going after the terrorists. Firm, because at this point in time, no sane person can still be advocating for necessary negotiation because they have deployed excessive havoc into the average Nigerian. The non-kinetic we are saying is that we need to also draw people closer to get information to be able to flush out this criminal tendency within our domain.
So if I'm to get you right, negotiation, that's the federal government negotiating with bandits and terrorists should not even be, because as at few days ago, the Senate and House of Reps, they've come together to say that kidnapping, banditry should have a death penalty. So is that the way forward? Is that what we should go for now?
Indeed. Negotiation with bandits is not a good idea at all. But I can understand in certain situations. I know there is a heat argument on social media now that the federal government actually negotiated with bandits to get those.
Especially with Sheikh Gumi coming in to say
that they negotiated. I do not have that details. I do not have the facts. But the only condition I can see around that is if there is any negotiation, maybe it is exclusively to get those children at that time. Because at that point in time, they are priority. That okay, let us get them and continue the enforcement. And I do not have fact on that. That's what my view. But I know the federal government cannot be willing to take negotiation as their option A now, because these people, they have went beyond extra mile. The havoc they are causing is beyond extra mile. I draw this example I gave in a movie I watched. There was a movie I watched at the cinema open yesterday. I think Son of the Soil. That always at the end of the day, the actor there is a small lady, maybe let me say the boss that held, so they now want to exchange, he wants to kill her. At that point in time, the actor really wants to kill the boss, but at that point in time he's willing to give us something to surrender to get that child. That does not mean he does not want to fight that person, he does not want to kill that person. So I also draw that analogy. You know, this is what we do. We are into peace all the time. When we see situation, we try to dissect it to reality. So that's the only excuse I can see from, if at all such negotiation happen. Maybe it is out of the passion of we need to get kids without any colossal damage. A common sense will tell you it wouldn't have been a battle, an exchange of bullets. It's an exchange of bullets. Maybe one or two of those kids might have had one bullet injury or whatever, but it's not clear. It is unverified fact. But I know, I'm not saying government will take negotiation at this point in time. We have to go hard on them. I believe that is the stand of the government, to go hard on these terrorists, to go hard on these criminals, and destabilize them from our system.
Okay, can I come in here?
Okay, I was going to even ask for your opinion on that. And quickly before you actually talk on that, I was also going to say that prior to now, we know that when all this bandit or when all this terrorists, or should I say Boko Haram, at some point after they've been caught, after they try to reintegrate them, the federal government reintegrate them back into the system, and most of them into the force.
Yeah, into the
military. You know, so when we say that we don't want to negotiate with them, and then the federal government at some point is reintegrating these people into, I mean, it's like a conflict of...
They call them repentant.
Yeah, repentant.
Militant.
Militant, exactly. Is that not a conflict of ideas, opinions, a conflict of what they actually stand for?
You see, it's a very wrong idea to actually have a negotiation with a bandit in monetary terms. Okay. However, we cannot rule it out, most especially when it is actually is needed to save the captive. Okay. You get. It's what happens after giving them the ransom matters, because as long as they have their hands on the cash, you are giving them more power. And let's have this understanding. Sometimes when I listen to federal government saying they know the sponsor of all these people, they know their sponsors, I just laugh. Why? Because federal government is part of the sponsor. If you keep them with cash,
but that is not a fact, you know. We don't have proof to that. We don't have proof to that. It's not everything that we see in newspaper. It's not everything you have to hear on all these media houses. But we know that in most cases, what's his name? The Cardinal State Governor then actually said it on here, that we have to give them cash. So what happens? You are actually equipping them by doing so. You get. So now, it is a mistake to integrate a terrorist, most especially into your military. It is totally wrong. No matter what you do, where they were, they have the power to do whatever they like. The guy will give them, they take good care of them. Now you are bringing them to military where they will be taking order. No matter what you do, they will always have allegiance to the terrorist leader, because they get more. This recruitment we are talking about, there is possibility that they also infiltrate it. So that means the DSS, the Nigerian military, had a lot to do to ensure that the right people are recruited into this military, or else we are still going to have the same problem. You see, when you bring these people, when you integrate them, what it meant by integration is by giving them orientation, settle them in respect of maybe giving them training, handwork, all these artisans work. When you are done, monitor them. But the question is, how many people are being monitored? How many people are actually being trained? I remember a few years ago, the National Assembly sponsored a bill, a member of the National Assembly sponsored the bill that all these Boko Haram or the terrorists, that when they get arrested, they should try to send them abroad and for training. Amnesty program. You get. But the question is, doing so, you are empowering them to do more damages to the country.
So we have a lot of things. We have a lot of things to learn. You don't negotiate for the purpose of enriching. You negotiate for the purpose of saving lives. Then what comes after that matters a lot.
All right, let me ask you, Senator Wamako at the National Assembly on Wednesday raised an important issue about withdrawal of policemen from VIPs. He said, if you withdraw policemen from VIPs, it means that you are exposing the VIPs to attacks. Now, VIP does not only mean political appointees, does not only mean, it also musicians, you see them having, you see some religious leaders, so they are all VIPs. Now, what do you say about Senator Wamako's comment? Are you in sync with him?
Not totally.
Okay.
Yes, not totally. And I will explain. Of course, if I happen to be the former governor of the state, I need orderly.
Okay.
You get, no matter what, you still need an orderly. If I happen to be the former president, I need that. But the truth is, most of the people that have aides or policemen around them, they don't need it.
Okay.
They don't need it. What is my business with musician? What is my business with head of Agberu? You get, if anybody needs anybody needs security, you have the money to hire people on your own, send them to the Nigerian police training. They call them spy. That is the name given to them. Let them go through the training in the Nigerian police. Then you have your own people. They are not staff of Nigerian police. Nigerian police is not going to pay them, but they can give them the necessary training. But then that means if those people, once you have them, then there is possibility you need to also obtain license to have gun or whatever, and it must be given. According to Nigerian law, if you apply for license and they discover that you need it and qualify, they give it to you. You get, they give it to you. Yes, that one also has its own cons, but at the same time, it's not the people that are hired to protect to protect everyone that will not have to be divided or given up to some certain. You will see some, just one person, you will see about 3 or 4 mopo or police officer moving with that person. Someone that's supposed to be protecting the life of the people is protecting one person, which is wrong. So if any VIP feels on sale, just like Senator Wamako mentioned, yes, if any VIP feels on sale, then let that VIP find solution to his own security. That means you are telling us that the Nigerian police officer, the Nigerian police office, who you sponsor on a yearly basis, you guys are not safe with them. They spend extra money for your own pocket to get that done.
Prince Sani?
Okay, I have a question for Prince Sani. And one of the structural reforms that the presidency mentioned includes ban on open grazing. So I think yesterday you were somewhere in Ogun State. There was this farmers elders clash that you were a part of. So do you think the ban on open grazing and then ranching is the way forward? Is that is that what would help? Is it one of those things, that strategy that could help insecurity in the country and also reduce the conflicts between farmers and elders?
Thank you so much. Issue of banning on open grazing is a very crucial matter, very, very crucial, and I've been working on it for a couple of times. The president, in his wisdom, after dissecting the extent of the problem, he launched the full-fledged Ministry of Livestock Development, headed by Dr. Ide Mukhtar. I had a meeting with him at Ibadan. We had an extensive meeting where I discussed with him Ogun State issue and other southern Nigeria's conflict with farmers herders. He also rescheduled another meeting in his office in Abuja at the villa. I was there. I had a meeting with him and his technical advisor on how do we resolve this matter. Because, you know, Southwest and Ogun State in particular, we have some certain a kind of land, a kind of grazing locations that are very good for dry season grazing, that entice so many migrant of herders to come and graze in Ogun State. We have some certain locations that are good for all season grazing, and that's, you know, over the time the herders that are within the state are domestic herders, which we know ourselves all, but the new migrants are now complicating issues. You now see a situation whereby a community that cannot accommodate more than maybe 300 cattle, we are seeing 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 cattle due to those new migrants, which is often during dry season. So the issue is complicated. Certainly, it is not sustainable any longer. Ranching is the way forward. But the issue is that infrastructure is quite germane, it's quite necessary. And that is a responsibility of the federal government. They have to deploy resources in creating those infrastructure. You know, to a professional in the settings, you know, ranching is very expensive. It's capital intensive. It requires a lot of land. And that land issue has not been resolved. Because I'm not sure some certain states are even willing to release their land for ranching. So many states have not agreed. So which means it's a complicated issue that I think the federal government has to be determined. But the issue of either ranching is the way forward or not, it is non-negotiable. Ranching is the way forward. But we need the commitment of the federal government in partnership with the state government to have a genuine agreement on how to resolve matter. If you observe, some couple of days ago, there was a news of the federal government has eventually banned open grazing. After a couple of times, I think it was an extract from the minister's speech while he was in Yola, I guess. But he said no. He did not say outrightly banned. He said we need open grazing. We need to ban open grazing, but it has to be in phases. What did he mean in phases is that those infrastructure has to be in place. Because genuinely, now in Ogun State, if we say we have banned open grazing, we do not want to see any cattle anywhere, in any state. There must be it's either they move out of the state totally, or there is a location allocated that, so it will not be when you go out of this location that it now become a crime. Or maybe we get them buy lands. Even if you want to buy land, it's not every location are willing to sell land for you to do ranching because they believe it's a problematic sector now. Even, do you understand it? Even not all communities are willing to sell land to do ranching for an average herder. So which means it's going to be a government decision. So
let me ask you on that, as a follow-up on that. Number one, will you personally support a ban on open grazing? There is no ban yet.
Yes.
Will you personally support? Number two, the meeting you had with the Commissioner for Agriculture.
Commissioner
for Agriculture
yesterday in Ogun State, and with some herders and farmers. Can you let us in on the outcome of that meeting? And what is the implication on security in Ogun State?
The implication is that we've observed there's going to be escalation of criminal tendency from northern part of the country to southern part of the country through the dry season grazing. You know, the conflict of farmers herders is a seasonal conflict based on weed around field. It always becomes escalated from November, December, January, February. That's a dry season. During that dry season, those interlands that all those cattle are managing themselves during dry season, those lands will become dry. They will now remember those few locations that we stay test of time all through. They will now all be rushing to migrate to those few areas. So in Ogun State, we also have like 4 or 5 of those locations. We have a lot of those locations in Yewa axis. We have in Obafemi, Wodi axis, Editi, Gidimo, all those axes. So we have those areas that are evergreen areas. Come rain, come shine. 12 months of the season. So in the dry season, most of them from so many states where those areas they are become dry, they will move down. So one of the major reasons why we call on that meeting yesterday, that meeting we have all the stakeholders, all the Fulani heads, all those community heads that we know those cattle we want to penetrate, we all call them together. That we all know in the next few weeks now, there will be entrants. One, what should we do? We do not want the problem, considering the insecurity situation of the country. What we are looking at is that how to stop new entrants is one of our resolutions. We want to go in with full force to make sure we stop new migrants. The community-based herders that have been there for 50, 60, 70 years, that we understand ourselves, within which they know how to manage themselves, we can still continue managing that. But we want to make sure we enforce total denial of new entrants into the community.
How do you want to ensure that? Knowing full well that now these people are of the same clan, probably some some of them are accused also that they are not Fulani of Nigerian descent, that they are some of them from Mali, from all those places, and they are coming to Nigeria and Ogun State, being the gateway state, to get things for their animals. How do we ensure that these people don't enter?
One of the major strategies we are deploying to mitigate, some certain conflicts in life, you can only mitigate them to the minimum barriers level. Conflict is inevitable in the world. There is no way you can eradicate it in totality. But one of the mechanism we are deploying is that we want to believe, if not all, significant part of them used to communicate with one or two persons before they come to this community. So our intelligence, we are extracting all those people that serve as their intermediary to harness them together, bring them under an MOU that you must not receive anyone. That if you receive anyone, we will investigate, trace it down, then you will bear the consequences. So one of the major strategies is that we want to believe most of them, although some will come in without telling anybody. Because at that stage they are, it's like they don't have no choice. So even though if the person that's giving them the approval is denied, some of them will come. So we will treat those as criminals. We know how to treat those that you are lawbreakers. So then the ones that come in through some certain contact, at times some Fulani chiefs, at times some community chiefs, maybe Bali and thereabout, that they receive money to give. It can be anyone. Based on our experience, it can be anyone. So we are calling all those together to tell them at this point in time, considering the current security challenges, we need to manage things. We need to make sure we regulate. Whoever is coming in, we must have known the person, agreed with the host community. This community, what can you accommodate, what can't you accommodate? So we can only work with what the community can accommodate. And a case study of Ajebo, we have a rumor that Ajebo, some people want to strike Ajebo. We all went, we harnessed, we deployed security agencies there. The herders that we saw there are traditional herders that have been there for over 70 years. So our eyes are open, we are monitoring. Like 3 days ago, in Sabo area of Abeokuta, we had an intelligence, most in the community, we started seeing strange people. An average Yoruba person will think they are Hausas. They are not Hausa, they don't speak Hausa. Most of them are from Sudan, they are from Chad, they are from Cameroon. And in Sudan there is war. Most of them escaped from their war zone and looking for where to stay. So we arrested over 40 of them, handed over to police to profile. Nobody can call them a criminal yet. The only thing is that I don't know you and you need to be profiled. And they are being marked to the force headquarters, and they are being profiled. Some are being handed over to the immigration. So, so due diligence will be done on them. So that tells you our eyes are open. We are monitoring the situation. We cannot afford to have migrants that we cannot define. Any migrant that we cannot define, we will hand over to security agencies. And domestically, we are also laying more emphasis on our channels. Because one of those things we achieve is that we cluster all our communities. Now in Ogun State, there is no segment of any Fulani or Northerner or any settlement that something will happen that you will call me and I will say I don't know what to do. No. In every cluster, in every community, we have clustered them and have a leader. We always have someone that we call, what is happening? Is it beyond you? Then we come on board. The conflicts are different. There are some conflicts that you have to come to mediate, to negotiate. There are some you have to deploy security agencies to calm the situation before you go for a peace building process. So all those mechanisms, we put that in place through the peacekeeping committee, as inaugurated by His Excellency that has all segments in the peace building community to resolve issues as it comes.
All right, Mr. Adewi, the President spoke about the National Assembly reconsidering the issue of state police. On that matter, what is your opinion on it?
I'm actually surprised that the President is begging the National Assembly to reconsider. I believe this is something that ought to have happened a long time ago. The truth is, a stranger cannot know your area more than you. So that's just the truth. And it is necessary for us to have state police. The Southwest governors met during the week, and I looked at what they're discussing. I'm like, okay, it's a good one. This is not the first time they are meeting. And I think that was when the late Akeredolu was a governor, they came up with Amotekun, and the Amotekun is doing the job. there is a need for us to have three phases of police offices. There is a need for national police, the Nigerian police, I mean. There is a need for regional police, and there is a need for state police. I'm not going to talk about the community police for now, because the truth is we don't have the resources for now. So at least if for anyone that wants to fight insecurity, there is a need to have an internal security outfit. Without the internal security outfit, you are giving a room for the criminals to escalate. Now, let's look at Lagos State. Lagos State has what is called LNSA, Lagos Neighbor Security. Neighbor, yeah. So security. That one is there, is a security outfit. In Ogun State, we have So Safe. It's a security outfit. How well are these people equipped? So when we have a state police, yes, like I said, everything has its own pros and it has its own cons. People will abuse it, but a time will come that we will all agree that we are using it wrongly. But let's start with something. We all need state police, and all states need to be supported. With all the security allowances they get and all those, we have to budget for it. And the reason why we have to budget for it is because of all these state police that we're talking about. Now, they have the So Safe. I don't know how well equipped the So Safe is in Ogun State. They have the LNSC. I know once in a while I see their cars moving around. But in Ogun State, I don't know where else, apart from maybe Abeokuta, maybe they have one or two other cars you get that make them, what's it called, mobility easy.
So what would we like to see in the law by the National Assembly establishing the state police? Because you talk about So Safe, the proliferation of arms, they are not allowed to bear arms. So yes, there's a little to which they can do. They can only give intelligence, they can only do some little things. But what do you want to see in that law that would allow states to have their own police outfits?
So, number one, they need to have the same as the national, apart from the jurisdiction. Once we are within Ogun State, you know your power doesn't go beyond Ogun State. It is wrong to call a governor a state security officer and cannot talk to a commissioner police until the commissioner police gets approval or a directive from the IG. It's totally wrong. So a state police, in the law, the state police must be able to report and receive instruction from the state government, and they all must be well equipped like the Nigerian police. You know, like I said, it has its own pros and its own cons. There will be abuse of it, but a day will come that it will be controlled. The abuse will not be for long. A day will come that it will be controlled. Yes, they could be easily used for political interest, but the truth is, a time will come that it will be controlled. You get, but for the purpose of insecurity in the state, every state police must have rights as that of the national police, apart from jurisdiction. You get, and it means that the state police must be paid by the state government, must be budgeted for by the state government, must be equipped by the state government. And when we are talking of equipment, it's not only gun. It's not only gun. We are talking of all these emergency number, the people. We don't need to have police on the road before we know we have police. You get, there must be cameras around. There must be cameras around everywhere monitoring what is happening, and there must be people dedicated to that. And there must be an emergency number whereby I don't need to know your phone number. You get, I don't want to see your phone number. All you just need to do is to call, and someone picks it, and they'll be directed to the security outfit will be directed to that particular area. You get, because when I start seeing your number, possibility of me getting to know your number is high. Okay. So That is why it is necessary, a state police is necessary and totally supported.
All right, so quickly, I wanted to say, so sometimes last week there was this diplomatic meeting between Nigeria and the US that was led by Nuhu Ribadu, and now this is it. Will the collaboration with US security, because they have come together to form a collaboration of joint working group, will this collaboration with the US, would it help the insecurity in Nigeria? Because some other people are of the opinion that, oh, the US is coming for another reason, while some other people see it as, oh, it would be of help to Nigeria to fight against insecurity. So what is your opinions about it, both of you?
So for a very long time, the United States has been called upon to assist. They actually came to assist, but unfortunately they had to go back because they discovered that the information they gathered, which they shared with the Nigerian army, was leaked. And as a result, they were frustrated, they had to go back. Now, thank God for Trump, who came up, and I like Trump for something. And the reason is, it will make noise so that everybody will start jittering, looking for a solution, you get. And that is exactly what is happening. Now, constituting a committee to work with the United States is a good one. The truth is, Nigeria cannot fight the insurgents alone. We need a foreign country to assist. And it's just unfortunate, a lot of people are saying, oh, United States is coming to come and take care of resources. And the question I always ask them is, your resources, how many have you benefited from it? You get, in the northern part of the country, we know how illegal mining is going. Reasons why this insurgency happening, it was actually sponsored. You get, so there is a need for us to collaborate, and I pray that Nigerian government will be able to meet up with their own part of agreement. Because when we talk of collaboration, it's only one state person that is doing and the other one is not, then that means that it's a breach. Then we go back to square one.
Okay. Adisani, your comment on that, George Faith?
And certainly, the joint working group, as inaugurated by His Excellency, Shawad Bola Tinubu, which he made NSA Ribadu to be chairing that committee to engage the US in a joint solution. It's commendable, it's necessary. We can, the issue, the conflict in Nigeria is so complex now. It's not an issue we can resolve alone, but US coming in isolation, independently to resolve matters, it is not advisable. It's not advisable. It will come with a lot of complexity that we will not manage. If you have some case study of Libya, Iraq and Co that US have been, it has not been a good story. When they enter the country for such solution, when the president wants to make pronunciation, he will say it will be swift, immediate, like it will be a brief, but it can never be, nothing less than 5, 10, 20 to 50 years. So they can't come in and leave, because when they are coming in, you have to give them a location, they have to establish their equipment, and those equipment cannot be dismantled within a few period of time, so they will keep asking for extension. And a case study of Libya is not a good thing for us to come to this issue alone. But joint solution, is very necessary. We cannot resolve it alone. We need them to be on board to resolve our escalating insecurity in Nigeria.
All right, our time is up. We have to go. Many thanks to our guest, Prince Adisani, Senior Special Assistant to take care of non-interethnic affairs. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always being there for us. And also, Mr. Abashola Adebui, Ogun State Governorship Aspirant 2019 for YPP. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, we have to go.
Yes, I mean, it's been an interesting ride. I mean, I really don't feel like going, but it's time to draw the curtain, and thank you for being a part of the program this morning. From myself and Tunde, and from our guests, it's goodbye.